Of course, we have 10 games today, and we are starting off on Broken Moon. A little bit of a change up from what we've seen on the first couple of days. We're starting off here on the map, which is, like we say sometimes, a little bit less predictable than some of our other maps. You've got to work out how you're going to get your points. And of course, points mean everything today.
Everything. As all of these players know, you cannot afford to fall behind. It will be 3 Broken Moons in a row as well. So we didn't see Broken Moon 3 times yesterday. We only saw it twice in each series. So if you are struggling on Broken Moon, which some teams are, likes of Nemesis, RRX, Crazy Raccoon, did not find points on Broken Moon. So they really need to be performing better today.
I'll just give you a little bit of an indication of the flavor of the lobby as well when we're talking about regions. We have 5 teams from EMEA, 8 from the Americas, and we have APAC North with 4 teams and APAC South with 3. So pretty even across the board when you're looking at regional representation as we take ourselves over towards Production Yard and Underpass. Very good news early on here for the likes of Team Liquid and Sentinels.
So interestingly, Production Yard has yet to find a victory so far this tournament as a POI drop. Eternal Gardens, however, is the best POI we've seen so far on this map, with 3 wins from Eternal Gardens and an average of 18 points from there as well. Shopify Rebellion, perhaps going for that POI for that reason, seeing its success throughout.
And Shopify Rebellion, probably the one team that a lot of people would not have expected to see in the LCQ today, fighting for an opportunity to get into our match point finals. Sentinels, who mentioned how they've got a pretty good rotate here for where this zone is potentially going. Actually, slightly counter-rotating, probably looking for a couple of Evo Harvesters to get up to blue before they step their way towards this zone. Now, how do you feel nerves is going to impact things today, Dan? Because a lot of teams would have looked back on the VODs, looked back on the results, seen what went wrong and what went right yesterday, and on the first day of action here at the mid-season playoffs. Oh, we'll come back to that in a second, because Team Liquid are already having a hold off someone. ALGS have moved alongside them. But how do you feel that's going to play into the plays that are made today?
Yeah, I think teams sometimes and players struggle, especially in match 1, to get going, and they can just kind of retreat away from fights, maybe not take some of the risks that are presented to them. And I think that is honestly one of the things that causes teams to struggle in the early stages. They start to gain that confidence a little bit later, but they will find themselves behind those teams who are more willing to take those risks, more willing to take those fights and trust in their ability.
One really good thing here for Team Liquid, you mentioned sometimes that when the POI comes your way and the zone comes towards your POI, getting up to blues can be a little bit difficult if there's not Evo Harvesters that are nice and close. There's not things to interact with like a ring console and a survey beacon. Something to highlight here is that Liquid were already up to blues, and due to the fact that they have ring console, they have survey beacon, and of course the opportunity to do a little bit of damage from that extreme higher production yard. So it's going to be a little bit easier for them to hold, which is probably why ALGS decided to just disengage there from that height. Now that they've got back up to blue, they're a little bit more comfortable to move back into production yard as they now know where that zone is pulling.
Just to give everyone an idea of what's happening with the meta in this game as well, we are seeing 15 alters, so she's going to be banned going into game 2. We're seeing a lot of Crypto Watson as well, as to be expected. In the kill feed, Sentinels are taking a fight, and it looks like Team Liquid are watching over it. I think Sentinels might have already done the job here.
The Sentinels being aggressive early on. Mals have just been eliminated. First team out of the lobby as JDG will take them down. Jaguar is involved in that fight, and I think the Sentinels actually looking to third party this fight that was going on.
I think it was a combined effort. Liquid, Sentinels, and JDG all taking down members of Mals. Then the last remaining member was the one who retreated into JDG on their exit. So that's what happens sometimes when you try and force your way to these buildings and you just happen to find people already there.
Yeah, another thing just to highlight there from ALGS as they moved in, they actually have ring console on their rotate. So maybe they got there a little bit earlier, saw Liquid playing that particular position, kind of played to where they imagine the zone is going to be going, but as traffic arrived, it's given now that indication that production yard is where they want to set up.
Yeah, so everyone now has found really where they want to go. The difficult thing I find with production yard in setting up for it is there is a lot of space on the high ground here, and you have to try and command it. You really need to bully teams that are flying in or walking in. Otherwise, they can just take the other side of one of these wedges, for example.
That's exactly what Team Liquid did to ALGS as they landed there. Someone to keep our eyes on here, go next as well. Genji Esports moving their way with ring console information as to where this zone is going to be going. Trying to move in from the southern side of this zone. Shopify Rebellion understandably taking their time alongside Furia, who are way outside of the zone at the moment to approach.
That location interests me.
Genji will be pretty safe for now. Just trying to decide if they want to go a little bit deeper into zone here, having that ring console information, or if they want to just play edge here and wait for some teams to rotate into them.
Yeah, speaking of teams that are going to be rotating into them as well, you've got the likes of Shopify Rebellion, who are moving very late. Remember, I said they were dropping over at Eternal Gardens. They're now down at Terraformer, as Liquid have found a knock here onto ALGS.
They actually found two, if I'm not mistaken, so ALGS just trying to escape from this position. And one thing that Team Liquid can do extremely well, and it's going to be perfectly timed and indicated, is being able to not just control height, but also with the altar. They can use that Void Passage to jump up and down, and if any damage they see onto teams surrounding them and below them in Production Yard, they can control that space by just jumping up and down in that port.
Well, ALGS are not really knowing where to go at the moment. They're kind of still taking the fight to Team Liquid. It is going to force Void Nexus to be used as a retreat option. They do have the banner. That is worth noting here. So if they have a mobile respawn beacon, there's still a chance maybe they could just pop Strafing Flame back on the map here.
Doesn't look like a Moby is available for them, so ALGS have got some decisions to make here. Do they try and just play this one out as a duo? Do they try and retreat somewhere to get that res? But if they go to their south, there's Go Next who are holding the edge of zone that way, so it's a pretty difficult situation for them to actually leave this busy traffic, having arrived here so early. But Team Liquid, I do love how they're playing at the moment. I think Niazul's being very, very smart in the way that he's using these Void Passages to control not just height, but also the space in, around, above, and below them.
That's the Moby, though. They did have one. It looked like one member did, one member didn't. And Team Liquid trying to surround this. They do not want to allow this res to happen.
Yeah, they're pushing it aggressively here, extremely aggressively. But Niazul, of course, has the ability to use the Nexus to go back to his team should he take a little bit of damage. So, again, I love that they're commanding, or at least attempting to command all of this space here. They don't want to make it comfortable for ALGS. Should be able to be recalled here by a teammate potentially to that Void Nexus, but they're actually now taking a little bit of damage from other teams here. QAD. Orchid have arrived and Cersei's taken one down.
Very difficult place to try and resurrect anyone, to be honest, but yeah, there's Team Liquid taking that Void Nexus back. They'll be safe. I think that's a really good play from Niazul to be aggressive, recognize that you have that fallback, as now it means that ALGS are down to just 2 yet again as player K falls.
Zone is very, very busy, and this is one of the zones here on Broken Moon that I feel like if you're not here early and you're having to travel a long way, pretty tough to get a good placement. You've got to look for KP on edge, which I think is why you're seeing a lot of teams not progressing deep into this zone. Niazul looking for a little bit extra damage here. QAD struggling still. Oh, Niazul will go down. Are they going to be able to recall him, or is he going to be finished? Because now he falls into the hands of Sentinels, and maybe just a little bit of an overextension here from Team Liquid.
Yeah, just got sucked into that Void Passage by the looks of it, and sadly now Team Liquid are going to have to try and get his banner back and see if they can get a Moby to work with as well. Strafing Flame does stay alive, and ALGS keep their hopes of this game at least somewhat present, but it's certainly going to be difficult.
Don't mind me, Yanyu says as he jumps into the drone, recalls that one as well, and they have a Moby, so that's going to be an easy res for them using the crypto drone. And I think one thing Team Liquid is showing is how this composition is working for what they want to do. They are allowed to overextend. They're allowed to be a little bit risky and a little bit overextendy. That's a new verb that I just came up with, by the way.
I like it.
With their play here on height, knowing that they've got the ability to get those banners, get that res, and now maybe that they have used and expired that respawn beacon, the Moby, maybe a little bit more conservative on how they play this one.
So a couple of Liquid fans in the Gidea Arena as well, cheering on their boys. So they'll be delighted that they're back up to a full 3 on top of Production Yard. And they really are taking one of the not only most difficult spots to hold, but it can be one of the most rewarding spots if teams do start pushing in a little bit later, which is naturally going to happen as we go through these zones, because the zone is going to close now, Zone 2. And pretty much everyone except Noah's Fox have found themselves within that second zone. So we might see one fight on the eastern side. Crazy Raccoon, Shopify Rebellion, Noah's Fox in that kind of area.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough rotate for a lot of these teams. That tunnel is going to be chock-a-block in a few moments' time. You saw Orchid and RX having a look at each other. Crazy Raccoon on the other side. Shopify now wrapping back as well as NRG are taking damage as Go Next will get that knock. Sykes is down and Sykes gets finished.
Yeah, NRG just couldn't really find their way through, sadly. There was too many teams who had angles on them. They are still alive though, still 2 to work with, so maybe they could fall back. There is a little bit of space behind them if they head east. It's about getting there. You can see Gil trying to make his journey across. That's the first one. Timmy now is the last remaining player here. Hasn't been the best of weeks so far yet for NRG. The farewell tour as it is for Timmy, or what it's considered. Of course, it is only match 1, and they are still in it right now.
So Timmy now with the responsibility of somehow escaping the situation that NRG find themselves in and hoping he can get his 2 teammates back in. Looking elsewhere, look at the kill feed. 3 teams all having a scrap here. We've got Noise Fox, we've got Crazy Raccoon and Shopify Rebellion all right next to each other. Nosy neighbors, to say the least, and Zainu has to escape here. NRG have fallen and been eliminated. The second team now out of the lobby.
Is that a play on words of noise as well? Because that was quite funny if it was intended. But Noah's Fox will be getting back up at least to a 2, but it's Crazy Raccoon who come out on top. All purples as well, so they're going to be in a confident position. Furia were taking a look out of it. Evos are currently moving in onto Twisted Minds as well. It is all kicking off here on this eastern side.
Yeah, this is so busy, and it's all because it's the chokes that you have to go through to get towards production yard here. This tunnel is essentially the one lane that about 5 teams are trying to get through. Look at the right-hand side of your minimap right now. Nose Fox, Shopify Rebellion, down to 1, of course. Nose Fox down to 2, all looking to use that crafter. Crazy Raccoon holding them out, and then even if they get through that tunnel, RRX, Team Orchid all waiting for them.
And then up north, this is what's happening right now. Furia, Twisted Minds, and Evos all in the same place. Furia been able to get a knock onto Twisted Minds, but it is going to be traded. It's a 2 versus 2.
Alb looking for the abduction, trying to buy time here for Crook to get that battery off, and he's doing a really good job of it. Almost manages to pick that kill up, but now as Furia look for the reset, they're going to be EMP. There's a third party on the way, and here come Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah, really well played from Crazy Raccoon. I think Evos are going to escape, so Crazy Raccoon free third party, Furia eliminated, and Crazy Raccoon get an easy reset here. Noah's Fox are going to take a look, but I don't think they're going to be quick enough to really do anything with it, but they have to be mindful of this zone. 20 seconds till it closes.
Not overextending. Recognizing, like you say, that zone is a problem if they don't make this play. Interested to see if there's an evac tower available for Crazy Raccoon and if they can rip it on the top of this building to get over the mountain range. And yeah, right on time. They try and do exactly that. Shopify Rebellion back up to 3 as well, while Noise Fox tried to overextend and look for that third party. Shopify got the banners, got the reds, and now they're back in the game.
However, obviously NRG did get eliminated earlier as well amongst all of that, so Timmy was not able to survive. So another big hitter going down in the early stages here as Zone 2 will close in, and this is really going to force more fights on the east. So Noah's Fox are going to have to now try and push through the likes of Orchid and RRX as we watch now Gen G also holding off a couple of teams. Go Next to be on their side.
Yeah, Gen G taking a lot of damage here. Motherload highlighting them, grenades hitting them. It is warfare out here as Go Next are trying their best to control the southern side of this zone, and if they can, they're in a really good spot for this end game as well. Another team to keep your eyes on, Shopify Rebellion, Gaming Gladiators, all trying to fight outside of Underpass. Alcazia will be eliminated somehow, stayed alive long enough to be at this point in the game, seeing the amount of action they've been involved with. Asia now trying to fly at Henchman. Henchman instead is going to retreat back to his teammates.
And this is a huge fight for Go Next to win because Zone is going to be pulling down towards them on the southern side of production yard. So they'll find themselves in a fantastic spot for the late game here. 15 squads remain, and about 10 of them are still outside of this next zone. So in 1 minute, all of them need to be thinking about moving as Crazy Raccoon do get eliminated. Their rotation didn't work. I think it was Evos in the end, held them out, but now Orchid are also pushing them.
Well, Asia here left on his own. He's just going to try and rat out here for quite some time. The action's taking place on our screens though as Orchid looking to rat behind Evos right now. And if you need to know the POV, you should know it from the Prowler. It's Rambo who's looking for some KP.
Evos do escape though, an Ash Portal used. And now Orchid are just going to be able to survive here on this northern side. But down on the southeast, that's where things are going to start to get a little bit funky. Meanwhile, Evos, as they push in, they're going up against All Gamers, and it looks like it might be the end of Evos soon as well.
Well, the Ash Dash will keep them alive for just long enough. MG Clutch will be able to pop the battery as All Gamers hold the line. However, Neazul from height has picked up 1, and he's picked up 2. Somehow, Team Liquid have ended up with a Craver here.
Orchid now follow up, and it's going to be All Gamers again holding their position. This is great aggression from them. Force yourself out and make sure no one can push up on you easily.
2 shield cracks, 1 knock finishes. Grenade comes in from Rambo, trying to just keep himself in the game and keep his team in the game. 13 squads now alive, as All Gamers do their best to control the outsides of the building as well as the inside. And now they're looking to isolate Neazul there. You could see they had an opportunity. They tried to pull up to take height. It looked like Neazul got away.
Meanwhile, all these teams now are moving from east to west. You can see Shopify Rebellion just lost Koiful. All Gamers need to think about moving south as well, because this zone is closing in on them and they have to try and bully their way through this building.
It looks like a lot of KP are being donated to them at the moment. Fox trying to force their way into the building almost one by one, and it just keeps falling into the POV here of Drop. Shopify Rebellion have been eliminated on that busy southeastern side. As all gamers try and work their way forward, Fox will finally all be eliminated.
Nemesis are going to be next to try and fight their way in as well. You can see all these teams forcing from the northeast. Orchid go down, and Sentinels have been able to stay alive. Nemesis trying to do their best too.
Remix Powers just trying to buy time. They jump inside, but Sentinels are waiting. And the fence is shocking. That door is electrified now, and that is going to slow everything down. They try and stick this res. Do have the support perk, as Nemesis will jump in and out of this void passage. They stay alive for now.
Go Next get eliminated, which is crazy considering the position they did have, but Enter Force 36 now control that southern side, so a big fight was won on that side as well.
Sentinels now having to take the void passage themselves, trying to take out a couple of members of Team Nemesis and finish this fight, but it's cost Carter his life. He's going to be revived though. He should be able to get back in the game, and Nemesis will be dealt with. So Lotar goes through the port, gets the finish, and that's KP here for Sentinels.
So we've got a single member of Gen G on the south alongside Enter Force 36. Everyone else is here on the north, and Gen G just did get a respawn of at least one member, if not two, and maybe back up to a 3 here.
It was Asia, if I'm not mistaken, who was that last player alive. As Sentinels now move in, damage has been done. And the Devo will finish the knock as well. That'll be 2 dead on the side of JDG. Sentinels continue what is a very, very aggressive march towards this zone, and it has to be. 5 seconds left here. All gamers up to 3 again, trying to flank behind them.
Pretty much what Sentinels have to do. They have to bully these teams as they move through the building, but they have utility at the moment, but they're slowly running out of it. They've been using all of their grenades available to them, but they're going to have to take this fight shortly. Zone's pushing them in.
Team Liquid are up to a 3 still. Inside the building though, Sentinels and AG continue their fight. It's going to be Skillcakes, who was the last one to try and cross there, who will be the first one to fall into the grave. Sentinels now trying to move in on JDG. They know there's some solos around here. They want these KP.
Really need to have someone who's just ready to shoot those fences when they go up on the other side as well. Nizel is getting knocks in the kill feed. RRX is going to be on the receiving end and will be eliminated.
Sentinels keep trying to move forward though. This has been such a masterful progression through production yard from them, but the void passage is going to force JDG outside. I wonder if Sentinels are going to try and force this one. The gen does go down, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, they just got to be concerned about Team Liquid, who are on high and have 2 reds, may I add, as all gamers lose another one.
And a Kraber.
And a Kraber. Sentinels should be able to maybe clean up the pieces here. Yes, they will. All gamers fall into 6th.
Team Liquid, Void Nexus goes down. They see a res happening below them as well as the EMPs, which is going to give a lot of information to them on where teams are finding themselves. JDG trying to survive. Nizel trying to keep himself on the very, very edge of this ledge. JD will be eliminated. 36 getting a couple of extra KP as the end game grows closer.
This has been the perfect game from Team Liquid. Remember, they dropped here at production yard and they have dominated this space right from the get-go. They have held the top of this building, forced other teams away from them, and commanded as much space as possible. And they've been rewarded with Reds, with Krabers, being able to either take them off people or just gain them themselves through crates dropping.
It's just the 2 here for Gen G. Dexter joining Asia. They weren't able to get that 3rd banner, I believe, just from the position they were in. But look at the placement points that Asia has managed to get. When he was a solo, it was like 13, 14 teams alive. Gets to that southern side. At least collects 1 banner and gives Gen G a chance of picking up some really big points here. And the fact that they can control space with a triple take, really, really important for them.
Worth noting, Gen G and E36 both are running Ashe, whereas Team Liquid and Sentinels are on the altar. So different kind of styles of play here. And if it does end up in like a 1v1 situation, I'd rather have an Ashe on my team.
Next to trying to cross, just about manages to do so. Looks like Liquid are going to send this. They've recognized this is a duo. EMP goes in. Motherload goes in, and Nizel will follow as well. Asia trying to do what he can. 1 will go down, but Liquid will get that wipe to take down the duo. But can they survive here? And can they get back up to a 3? Nades raining down on them from above.
I mean, the amount of damage Asia just did onto Team Liquid. Now they're just a 2. They're hoping they can maybe get the respawn, but Sentinels take the height, and they were really stopping them from getting that res, and maybe Sentinels now hold one of the stronger positions.
Sentinels have a chance to put up an absolute monster game here in the first game of the LCQ, and having heard the res go in, they want that res to be permanent. They take down Liquid, and now they try and hold off E36. but they're not going to be able to. E36 will be your champions in Game 1 of the LCQ.
It's a 20-point game for E36, but I think there was a big fight that was won a little bit earlier to take